their sky blue shirts and white shorts, playing from right to left as we look, and straight away Gabriel heads the ball, and then it's held on the halfway line by Diaz, flicked on by Haaland, and Gabriel then has to hook it away downfield, headed forward by Calafiori. It hasn't come down and touched the surface yet. It's a series of 3, 4, 5 headers. Doku now tries to wriggle his way clear, stopped by Zubamendi, but already you can tell there is a real intensity from both sides in the opening seconds, as now Marino picks up the ball, slows it down. Zubamendi quickly passes the ball forward. Timber over the halfway line, looks for the run of Gyökeres, who scored a hat-trick against Manchester City for Sporting Lisbon last season. And then Gvardiol can clear it up towards Haaland, challenged by Saliba. Boos for Haaland, and eventually the ball is seen all the way back to David Raya.
Yeah, you're looking at teams in old-school fashion start and playing each other's half. They just want to play in the opponent's half. They got the ball forward as quick as they could, Manchester City, make it a bit of a fight. It's just interesting watching Bernardo Silva's one of the central midfielders. Phil Foden's out wide. I wonder whether those two will switch and change as the 90 minutes progresses, but it's pretty much as you expect from both teams with the formations.
Ball cleared quickly by Raya, stopped by O'Reilly, up to Gyökeres, holds it up, now makes a run out towards the left-hand side from the centre circle. Calafiori is going with him, stride for stride. Here is the Italian, but a good sliding challenge by Husanov, who gets over towards that far side, keeps the ball in play, helped out by Foden. If you remember when they met in early February, earlier in the year, already by now, Arsenal were ahead with that early goal from Ødegaard in what turned out to be a 5-1 victory. We've had no such early goal this afternoon in the sunshine in North London. Zubamendi to Gabriel. Short forward ball. Declan Rice looks to try and spread it. In the air it goes, and he picks out Madueke's first touch. Just showed too much towards O'Reilly, and it runs out off Madueke, and that will be a free kick to Manchester City. But I know we were talking with Theo Walcott ahead of the game, but you'd think that Madueke, in such his positive form, the way he's so direct, he's going to try and run at O'Reilly at every opportunity.
Yeah, you've got a lad who's playing at left back, naturally not a left back, and Madueke, he's been on real outstanding form. It's going to be a bad test for both fullbacks, but early in the game they've both got their first tackles right. Kusanov and O'Reilly, they got out to the wide man, got the tackle in, and just a little confidence boost just to say, okay, I'm in the game, I'm playing, I've had my touch, I'm doing okay.
Timber manages to get the ball and from Haaland, shields it away from Haaland, who came back at him, back towards Rice now, out towards Calafiori. The referee, incidentally, is Stuart Atwell, who was the FA Cup final referee when Manchester City lost to Crystal Palace last season. Calafiori out on that left-hand side, touches the ball towards Trossard. Trossard now runs forward. Trossard continues to make good ground. Husanov comes back at him. No free kick, says Stuart Atwell. Husanov towards Rodri. Closed down quickly, though, by Gyökeres. Foden now is being penned in by Arsenal as they press high up on that far side, the Arsenal left. And he'll go out for a Manchester City throw 0-0.
That was a really, really strong play from Kusanov. It looked so assured. Had a lot of ground to catch up with Trossard and just got back, shrugged him off and said, I'll have that. And just turned and played. And you think of the start that he had for Manchester City, how shaky he looked all of a sudden. Maybe being at right back, maybe that little bit less pressure, being out on the far side is suiting him right now.
Doesn't have happy memories of the Emirates when he was a Lens player, albeit he came on as a second-half substitute in a 6-0 defeat. They were 5-0 down when he entered the field of play. That was in November 2022. But this is only his 15th appearance for the club, and playing as a right back as Gvardiol and Diaz and O'Reilly make up the rest of that back line for Manchester City, which is quite high at this moment, as Saliba at the heart of the Arsenal defence goes to his right. Timber, Zubamendi tries to run away from Haaland. Marino on the halfway line. Madueke is just ahead of him. Here is the England international. Back towards Zubamendi, runs in field into the centre circle, and on the halfway line it goes back towards Gabriel. Calafiori is actually on the inside of him, and Calafiori then runs forward and then passes the ball back, and Arsenal keeping the ball, but Manchester City tracking them every step of the way, Rob.
Yeah, Calafiori's inverted at the minute. into that centre midfield role. I think it's in a bid to try free up Declan Rice on the left-hand side. Trossard's high and wide on the left, Madueke's high and wide on the right, but when Calafiori has come out wide, Trossard's drifted inside, and it's a better shape, it's a better formation, just because they're closer to Gyökeres.
Trossard plays the ball back, Gabriel goes further back towards Raya, opens up his body, Foden was running towards him, Saliba inside the Arsenal penalty area, back to the Arsenal keeper, all in yellow, just outside the D is Declan Rice, who collects the ball, and then they've given it away, and O'Reilly was unable to take advantage. There's been a goal in that Scottish League Cup quarter-final. Gavin Wallace.
Sebastian Tinekti scoring his first for Celtic and their third of the afternoon. A nice ball over the top. He just gets in there at the 6-yard box, Deno, and smashes home. Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 3.
So Celtic going through to the last four, where Rangers, Motherwell and St Mirren await. Timber for Arsenal, 0-0, 6 minutes played. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Forward ball to Gyökeres. Inside right channel the area, tried to play it towards Marino. Reinders was there, his clearance though is going to run straight to a red and white shirt. And the shaft of sunlight in the Manchester City half is Zubamendi. Zubamendi once again on the ball. Timber is quite high, made the run. Zubamendi opted against passing the ball forward. They're keeping it in the midfield instead. It remains goalless. Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori has gone out wide. Here he is on the halfway line. Arsenal play from left to right. Trossard touches the ball back to Rice. Rice wants Saliba to come onto the ball. He was almost saying to him, this is where I want you, 10 yards further forward.
Yeah, it needs to be 10 yards further forward. Needs to engage the centre forward of Ireland.
Ball from Timber. Madueke makes the run. Gvardiol had tracked it, and Gvardiol was able to clear the ball away. It was played infield, in between Gvardiol and the left-back O'Reilly for Madueke to give chase.
Yeah, but he's quick enough, Gvardiol. I think they know that. Kusanov and Gvardiol, two of the four are quick enough to track back and cover. That's why they're holding the high line. But you're right, they need to get that little bit higher, that little bit more engaged, just to break up the Manchester City set positions, because it's very hard to play through.
Trossard falls forward. Stuart Atwell says no free kick. Gvardiol with a back pass towards Donnarumma. And then Donnarumma to Rodri, and Rodri quickly to Diaz as the fullbacks are pushed on. Rodri just splits the two central defenders. Back towards Donnarumma. Marino was the one closing him down. And in the end, that floated, hurried clearance over the head of O'Reilly. O'Reilly's a big lad as well, 6'4". I think he took off too early, and it went as he was coming down. The ball was then going over his head.
Yeah, he managed to miss it at about 5 foot high there, so I'm not sure how. But it was one of those like a six in cricket, where the fielder's not on the boundary and it's gone over his head.
Trossard, Calafiori goes on ahead of him on that far side, the left. Cross, first time, goes away from the penalty area. Reinders' effort is blocked by Zubamendi. Foden tries to get a touch as well, but the sky blue shirts were quickly surrounded by red and white, but they managed to beat that press, and Reinders now is leading the charge, and he finds Haaland. Haaland in the penalty area. What a counter-attack that was from Manchester City. Erling Haaland with a clinical finish, as you'd expect. They did ever so well to beat the press, and their first attack of the game after 9 minutes. Manchester City lead, Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1. That man Haaland.
This has got Haaland written all over it. Hold up play, lay off, and then just go. The Etihad stunned, because it looked like there was no danger whatsoever. They crowded him with the midfielders, with the centre halves. He had about a yard of space between three Arsenal players, managed to lay it off, and then from there was no stopping him. Reinders was just waiting and waiting and waiting to say, I'll tell you what, I know you're coming, I know you're there, I've just got to find that right moment. He sprints away from Gabriel and Zubamendi. They just can't live with him. His first touch is perfect, off his left foot onto his right foot. He's got all the time in the world to pick his spot. Haaland is on fire. It's brilliant play.
Bearing in mind for Erling Haaland, that is his 131st goal. That's only the 20th that has come off his right boot in all of those goals for Manchester City. But he started the move. Yep. And by holding it up, he must have taken out, what, 3, 4 Arsenal players to find Reinders?
It was brilliant centre-forward play initially. you're just wondering. I was just about to say when there was a break in play, well, I'm not sure they're doing the right thing here. Maybe get one of the wide men higher because you've got a better out. But I got it completely wrong. Just give it to Haaland, get into as tight a space as you like. It's fantastic centre-forward play.
Well, Manchester City have now scored first in 5 of their 6 games this season. They did lose that one against Brighton, but it's their travelling support that are celebrating over on the far side. And you could see the frustration and almost the disgust of Mikel Arteta as his team were just sucked in, weren't they?
Yeah, but it was 70, 80 yards from goal when he got control of the ball. He was closer to his goal than the halfway line. Took his first touch, allowed the 3 players to crowd him out, and then I've got you exactly where I want you because you can't catch me.
So, Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1, 11 minutes played in the sunshine in North London. And Manchester City with a throw that Saliba will head out towards that far side. That is also, incidentally, the first goal that Arsenal have conceded in open play this season. They were the last remaining side in the Premier League to do so after Fulham conceded that goal against Brentford last night.
I was going to say Fulham, and I forgot I was there watching as well. But it was something special against Liverpool, wasn't it? And this was something special from Haaland. Wasn't the 30-yard screamer finish, but it was further away when it started.
Reinders, who has certainly played his part in the goal. Rodri and Reinders both lose the ball, and then it goes past Timber. Mikel Arteta has to just try and jolly up his players as it will go out for a City throw on this near side the left. O'Reilly waits to take it. They lead by 1-0.
It wasn't the seated Zen pose celebration, was there, from Haaland after, which caused all the commotion last year?
He's suggesting he stayed humble.
Well, he wasn't. He was certainly focused.
Here is Gvardiol, stabs it forward. Reinders and Zubamendi go for the challenge of the ball. Foden, Reinders as well, does ever so well. Good control, forward ball towards Foden, just eludes him. Saliba is there. Arsenal at the minute just lost a little bit of composure with that goal, and Manchester City now with Foden and Bernardo Silva. And Manchester City are confident with the way that they're passing the ball around. Here is Diaz forward of the centre circle, back towards Gvardiol. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our left. Rodri. See, the trouble is now from an Arsenal point of view, you wouldn't want to go 2-0 down.
No, and they've been rocked. They've been rocked now.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, and you're just seeing the confidence levels of Manchester City rise, and all of a sudden, I think Manchester City know in the centre halves and the defence, Gyökeres can't hurt them. I know he scored a hat-trick last season, but they're saying we can hold our line here. We can boss this against him.
Here is Rodri. Rodri goes short. Diaz comes onto the ball 6 yards inside the Arsenal half. Arsenal have dropped off. Haaland goal, the difference between the two sides if you've just joined us. Earlier Bournemouth 0, Newcastle United 0, Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. Good point for Sunderland, bearing in mind that Ronaldo was sent off 11 minutes before half-time, so over an hour with 10 men. Aston Villa getting their first goal in the Premier League this season. Here is Rodri. Tickles the ball in field to Bernardo Silva. O'Reilly, now the left-back, is inverted in his central area forward of the centre circle. Manchester City at the minute are passing the ball very, very crisply. Player is down on the far side is Husinov, and is going to require some treatment. Amazing how, I mean, we've watched so much football. You've played a lot of football now watching it, but still, when you're watching it elite level, and yet the goal can still affect the players of the top quality still.
It shows how fragile confidence can be. You're thinking Arsenal have got all the confidence going into this game. They've got the form. Yes, they lost that game against Liverpool, but after the win in the week, the manner of the win, all of a sudden, one moment of brilliance, which we know Haaland can do. That's the nature of playing against the best, is that they can do that. All of a sudden, they've quite literally gone into their shell. They've gone into a compact shell and thought, we can't let this happen again. We can't. And they've dropped off, and they've allowed the space for Manchester City, and it seems like they're bossing it. Rodri's on the ball, all of a sudden within the space of 2 minutes, has played off 10 little passes, and they're completely dictating the game.
7 goals in 6 for Manchester City this season, 13 in 8 for club and country, and it is his 5th goal in 9 against Arsenal, as we wait for Husanov to get back to his feet after lengthy treatment.
So what you're saying is 5 in 9, he's struggled against Arsenal.
It is 3 wins, 2 draws and 3 defeats in his 8 games. A little bit mixed, but bearing in mind that City have not won in their last 5 meetings, going back to when they actually did the league double over Arsenal in 2023. They've had the measure of Manchester City in recent matches. But remember that statistic that Pep Guardiola has never gone 5 games in a top flight in his managerial career without a win. And that's what Mikel Arteta was looking to try and do here today. And when you consider that last weekend was Pep's 600th match in his top flight of his managerial career, that is some statistic. Just a little bit of context to it, as Donnarumma, all in green, picks the ball up and play is going to be back underway. 16 minutes played. The Arsenal supporters aren't happy with Donnarumma's time wasting.
Well, he got the hand from Stuart Atwell to say it was less than 5 seconds, and I think Stuart Atwell was quite generous with the time he was given.
Here is Declan Rice coming forward. Rice touches it to Calafiori. Back then with England international. Marino's making his steady progress into the penalty area. Rice, though, will curl it out towards Madueke. Madueke lets the ball settle. They've doubled up on him. Scoops it back. Timber, right corner of the area. Timber enters the box, runs down the right-hand side, down towards the byline, wins a corner off the legs of O'Reilly.
No, that little break in play has just allowed Arteta to gather the players and just galvanise them and say, come on, there's a long way to go in this game, let's get ourselves back together and get back to doing what we can do. And straight away hitting Madueke early, it seems to be the order of the day of what Arsenal are doing, and now they've got the opportunity from the corner.
Manchester City, zonal marking, have got everybody back inside their own penalty area. Arsenal trailing by 1-0, playing from left to right. Madueke this near side. It's a left-footed corner kick, chipped in towards the near post, headed away by O'Reilly, downward header by Rice, back towards Madueke, doesn't deliver the ball, gets away from Foden and O'Reilly. Foden comes back at him, tries to win another corner. Does he succeed? No, Foden keeps the ball in play and then clears it. Goes out for a throw midway through the Manchester City half.
All the focus of the Arsenal attack is down below us on this right-hand side. Everything is looking towards Madueke, looking to take on the players, be direct, as Theo Walcott was talking about in the studio. Just get at. Doesn't matter whether it's 1 or 2, he's going to have a give a go.
Saliba's ball from defence over the top. Gvardiol lets it drop over his shoulder, straight through to Donnarumma. Donnarumma has the ball at his feet, now picks it up, tries to get away from Gyökeres. There again is the 5-second warning, and then he drops the ball at his feet. The 8-second rule. I think the supporters are more on Donnarumma's case than Stuart Atwell is.
Well, I mean, 8's not that high. It seems quite difficult for some fans to be able to hold the patience for 8 seconds. It's a tough school here.
He's got to be in full control of the ball, though, as well, hasn't he? That's when the referee starts the 8 seconds.
Yeah, when it's reasonable that he can play the ball. All the goalkeepers have been spoken to, all the teams have been spoken to, everyone knows the rules, and I think it's just something that the frustration of the Arsenal fans is coming out already.
Doku tries to get away from Timber. They get involved in a little bit of a tussle. Doku then breaks free. Timber keeps the ball in play, plays it on the ground towards Saliba. Saliba brings the ball out of defence. Marino being closed down, though, by Reinders. And then they lose the ball, breaks towards Haaland. Here is Bernardo Silva to Reinders, enters the area, shoots straight at Raya with a save. Bristol City, Oxford United in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
Looks like Oxford going to pick up their first 3 points of the season. Brian De Keersmacher with a long-range free kick. Greg Lee arguing that it took a touch off him. Gary Rowett won't care. It's Bristol City 1, Oxford 3.
Thank you, Aaron. Madueke looks to go on the outside of O'Reilly, cuts the ball back. There is Rodri inside the penalty area. The supporters around us are getting very animated.
unfortunate for Manchester City. Got caught on the ball there, but just before, Madueke again against O'Reilly. It's the battle of the game, isn't it? And when they won the ball there, Doku stole it and it fell to Haaland. You're thinking the form he's in, he's going to shoot from 20 yards, decided to lay it off. Have the shot, take the chance.
2 chances so far in the game, both to Manchester City, who lead by a goal to nil. Reinders with the assist, straight at Raya, low down, all in yellow away towards our left-hand side. Zubimendi to Rice, along the ground, out towards Calafiore. Not getting forward and not starting to go into that inverted role as he did in the early stages since they conceded. Here is Rice. Bernardo Silva pretends to go for the ball and then just backs off him. They play it across the back. Gabriel, Rice once again dropping in between the 2 central defenders. Zubimendi's just outside the centre circle. Haaland is on the prowl. Rice's forward ball to Gyökeres, and then the ball goes through towards Trossard. Trossard now against Husanov. Excellent covering from the Manchester City right back, because there was a gap, but he quickly snuffed it out.
It's brilliantly worked, but brilliantly recovered by Kusanov. That was what I was talking about, the confidence that Kusanov brings, the pace that he's brought, him and Guardiola in there. It was a matter of waiting and Arsenal biding the time to go, I'm going to go into that space now, to then release the other players and the runners in beyond. It's that timing that was key. They got it right, they just didn't have the pace to capitalise.
It's finished 0-0 in the WSL. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0. So that is a full-time score. On Sports Extra 2, we've still got Ireland-England on the stream there on the BBC Sounds app of the T20 cricket. Match of the day tonight, 10:30, and the Women's Football Show follows that at 11:30. Donnarumma with a free kick. Right-footed, up towards Haaland. Saliba was holding him from behind. Gabriel hooks the ball downfield and it goes out of play for a throw. Mikel Arteta tries to encourage his players, his black sweater matching that of his hair and his grey trouser bottoms, as he has O'Reilly about 6 yards away from him taking a throw, cut out by Madueke, back towards O'Reilly. Referee has penalised the Manchester City defender for a stray arm catching Merino in the face.
Yeah, there's moments of real lack of quality within the game. I mean, it can light up at any moment, and there is that jeopardy within the game because there is such quality on the pitch, but at times, with basic things like Gabriel just tossing the ball straight out of play, or then O'Reilly throwing it straight to the opponent, there's that fractious, nervous energy within the game as well that's adding to the spectacle, really.
Raya goes very, very long with his free kick. Rodri is the one to head it away on the edge of the penalty area. Then it's touched by Haaland, and Reinders, who's everywhere at the moment in that midfield for Manchester City, just caught by Timber. He stays down. There is a pressure on Arsenal to put the ball out of play, but it's not a head injury. It's not a head injury. And I can gauge the frustration of the Arsenal supporters there. The two Dutchmen came together. I did feel that Timber did catch Reinders, but that wasn't a head injury. He's sitting up now, and the Arsenal supporters are not impressed at all with referee Stuart Atwell.
Well, he didn't stop the game. The Arsenal team stopped. It was Saliba on the ball who just said, I'll tell you what, I'll just stop and allow him to be okay. And actually before, when Manchester City kicked the ball out for Kusanov to get treatment, Arsenal returned the ball to Manchester City and got booed by their own fans for doing it. So the frustrations with the Arsenal fans, he's saying, well, actually, there's nothing untoward going on.
You know, earlier on when Steve asked you about is it must-win for Arsenal, the reaction of the supporters, there's so much riding on it. They know it's must-win.
Yeah, I think it's bigger for them than anything else.
Bernardo Silva's cross in from the right-hand side. Foden loses out to Calafiore. Trossard on that far side, blocked by Husanov. Bernardo Silva now picks it up. Ball bounces away from that area of the field and it's tidied up by Declan Rice. Passes the ball out towards Saliba. Madueke has come short. O'Reilly goes with him. Saliba has to pass the ball square again to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now looks up. There's no width on the left at the moment. Calafiore is the one who provides it as he runs forward eventually over the halfway line, because Trossard had gone in field. Gyökeres stabs it towards Trossard, left-hand side of the box now. Trossard then leaves it for Calafiore, sweeps over the cross and blocked behind by Husinov, who's having a good game. It's got to be said. 25 minutes in, corner kick to Arsenal, they trail 1-0.
Yeah, he's manning that side on his own, really. Phil Foden's not getting back to help him so much, and when Trossard does come inside and stand next to Gyökeres, it is a better shape. Calafiore's out there on his own, but what he's doing is bringing Gyökeres in tight, bringing narrow, and that gives Calafiore the time and space on the ball that he needs. So it is another route out for Arsenal. A lot of it's come down this right-hand side. There is the option on the left as well.
5 of Arsenal's 9 goals in the Premier League have come from set pieces. We know about their threat, certainly from last season as well. As Declan Rice with a corner kick on that left-hand side. It's an in-swinger. Donnarumma gets a fist to it. Gyökeres will collect the ball on this near side, the right. Doku comes towards him. Referee's assistant says it's a corner kick. Doku complains and protests. Arsenal have a corner right-hand side. They trail 1-0.
He does well there, Donnarumma, because just gets squared up to the ball, and you think temptation is, when you see everyone rush past you at the near post, is to go to the near post as well as the goalkeeper. Just held his ground long enough.
Every sky blue shirt in the Manchester City penalty area to defend this corner kick. It should be another in-swinger from Madueke. Indeed it is. Left-footed in towards the near post. Rodri got his head to it. Foden controls the ball and then lifts it in the air high. It's going to drop midway through the City half. O'Reilly twice goes for an attempt for the ball and doesn't get there. Trossard out towards Madueke, keeps the ball in play and does well. Continues to come forward. Madueke wriggles away from Foden, up against O'Reilly, into the penalty area with a cutback into the area, and it needed Bernardo Silva to get there before Calafiore. Madueke did exceptionally well.
Brilliant for Madueke, just to get the ball into the box from the touchline. He had no right. He had 2 players around him. Just got the ball to the byline. Old school, cut it back and say, go on, be there. Where are you? His Arsenal teammates weren't there.
So a long throw is going to be coming up from Declan Rice. He's level with the Manchester City penalty area on this near side, the right, playing from left to right as they look for an equaliser. Donnarumma stands on the edge of that 6-yard box. It's a flat throw coming in. Comes off the head of O'Reilly, cleared on the half volley by Foden. Full time at Ashton Gate, Aaron Paul.
Bristol City 1, Oxford 3. The Robins' unbeaten start is over. Oxford's goals coming through Prelec, Proheta and De Keersmacher. They're off the mark for the season. They've beaten Bristol City by 3-1.
And the results in the Premier League earlier: Bournemouth 0, Newcastle United 0, Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1. And it is 1-0 here to Manchester City. Rob Green.
I can picture Steve Crossman in the studio punching the air with that result, the Middlesbrough fan.
Here is Timber. Last touch came off an Arsenal player, Marino. It'll be a City throw. Yeah, still a bit of distance at the top, isn't it, for Rob Edwards' side in the Championship? As that goes out of play. At the minute, there'll be Liverpool having a bit of distance at the top of the Premier League. If Arsenal fail to win this one, Bournemouth moving ahead of them with that point against Newcastle United. They join Tottenham on 10 points, Arsenal on 9 behind the champions and the league leaders. 5 wins out of 5 for Arne Slot's side. Manchester City just been told to hurry up a little bit here now by referee Stuart Atwell, with O'Reilly with a throw. Been playing for nearly half an hour.
I think Manchester City making the point there. Nick O'Reilly, he's going to get the ball and went to get a different ball. Exactly what Declan Rice did in exactly the same spot about 2 minutes ago with the long throw. No one had a problem with that.
Good point. O'Reilly again waiting to take the throw down the line on this near side, trying to roll away from Timber. Haaland unable to do so. Timber stabs it out of play. They must advance another 15 yards or so downfield, and O'Reilly once again picks the ball up off one of those small white cones, has a word with Pep Guardiola as he does so, and then eventually, there's not much movement for him, goes down the line. Was that a push from Haaland on Timber? Yes, it was, spotted by Stuart Atwell. Wicket in the cricket, Stephen Schemmel.
England are 90 for 3. Manchester City fan Phil Salt is out for 29 off 23 balls. He edged Curtis Campher behind, but Jordan Cox is still there, playing for England for the first time since last November. He's 36 off 21. 90 off 3 in the 10th. Target is 155.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra 2. You can find that on the stream through the BBC Sounds app. And certainly if you haven't downloaded the BBC Sounds app, then you'll want to do so if you want to stay across of the Ryder Cup coverage. We'll have live coverage all 3 days from Friday, from midday to midnight. So with the BBC Sounds app, you can take the golfing team with you wherever you go for the Ryder Cup coverage, and there will be a discussion on it after the Monday Night Club tomorrow night, a preview show on Thursday, and then you won't miss a thing from Friday, Saturday and Sunday of next week. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Arsenal trail by a goal to nil. Timber, Saliba, forward ball to Zubimendi. Zubimendi into the centre circle, closed down by Bernardo Silva. Every sky blue shirt has dropped off in their own half behind the ball. Zubimendi comes forward, scoops it long, curling, arcing its way out towards Calafiori. Foden closes him down. Foden wants a throw, doesn't get it. It'll be an Arsenal throw that Calafiori wants to take quickly. Level with the penalty area. In fact, he's done exactly what O'Reilly's done, hasn't he?
Oh, he's drying the ball as well now. He's taking an eternity. It's a difficult throw, this, because all the Arsenal players are lining up like they would a corner way beyond the far post. It's a long way to throw it.
In comes that throw, flat throw from the left-hand side. There was like a push maybe there from Haaland on Gabriel. Rice chips the ball back in. Madueke's head is off target, and it will go well off and out for a goal kick. VAR would naturally have a look at that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, as with most long throws, there's all sorts going off, but all the Arsenal players are running a long way across, and there is a slight touch of the hands from Haaland on the back of Gabriel, and it's never ever going to be given, and I think he knew he was never going to get there, was he? So went over.
Jared Gillett is the VAR official. The goal kick is taken short. Gvardiol touches it to Donnarumma. Donnarumma, who has only had to make 3 saves in his first 2 appearances for Manchester City, hasn't been tested as yet in this game. We've been playing for over half an hour.
Yeah, and it's been the lack of players arriving in the box from the chances that they have had. Madueke getting down the line and cutting it back has been the best course of action for Arsenal. It's been the best route, and they've just not had that player arriving from midfield to get a strike in on goal. That's where the problem's been.
Been a lot of talk about Arsenal's defence this season, and quite rightly so, up until today, only conceding the 1 goal. But Manchester City have defended well. They've protected Donnarumma in these 33 minutes.
Yeah, really confident and really assured. Looking at the back four, and it is a back four. It's solid. They're not going much beyond. We think about when Mateus Nunes was right back, how far he drifted. Rico Lewis, he would come inside. They're staying as a 4.
Timber, high up the pitch on this near side, the right. Arsenal play from left to right. Madueke now on the right touchline level with the penalty area. Doku is back helping out O'Reilly. Marino, he'll stroke it casually, left-footed. This is Gabriel joining the attack. Calafiori is the option out wide left. Back it goes towards Rice. Infield to Zubimendi. 30 yards out from goal. A little bit further away than that, actually. A little stumble there by Zubimendi. Manchester City are forcing Arsenal back gradually. Zubimendi then to Saliba. You can hear the groans and frustration from the Arsenal supporters. There's Saliba inside the centre circle to Gabriel. The fullbacks are pushed on. Madueke wants to make the run, had made the run, wasn't spotted. They play it out towards Trossard instead on the left. Trossard now coming forward, back then towards Rice. Madueke backpedaling away from O'Reilly, trying to give himself some more room on the edge of the box. Rice waits. They're being patient here, the home side, as they still trail by a goal to nil. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and also live on the World Service. Calafiori back towards Rice once again. Can't find a way through the sky blue shirts.
No, everything's in front of Manchester City. There's not one run being made in behind. You're looking, and he doesn't have to be the centre forward as such, but just someone make a difference of a run is trying to lure out Manchester City, but they're keeping so resolute as a shape. So the space, all we can do really to find the space is go behind, and they're not doing those runs.
And they're a tight, compact four, aren't they, at the moment? Because if you look, Trossard wide left, Madueke near side the right, they are hugging almost the touch lines, but the fullbacks remain compact as a unit.
Yeah, and you look and say, well, where can we go? What can we do to make a difference? And there's not a lot they can do, really, to change. There's on the far side, on the right-hand side.
Calafiore forward, feeds it. Trossard enters the penalty area. Trossard twists one way, then goes on the outside of Matheus Nunes. Gets a corner kick. Matheus Nunes stood up to him. Corner kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, did well. Could have bought the dummy, but didn't. Just stuck to his task and got the block in. And we saw a lot of this in the first half. Arsenal with pressure out wide, but not getting the quality of the crosses in, not getting the bodies in the right areas.
So Declan Rice wanders across to this near side, the left, playing from right to left. Rice to take the corner kick, left arm aloft, right-footed, crowded area. Donnarumma couldn't get there. Timber keeps it alive, far post. Trossard has a shot that's charged down. Doku's going to run it clear. Saka tried to take him out. The referee's played the advantage. Just dangled the leg in the hope of trying to trip him. Doku, though, now looks for Haaland. He's onside. Ezra is the last player back. Haaland goes it alone, saved, and then over it goes for a corner kick, and that could have gone anywhere on the rebound. If Haaland looked up, Phil Foden was in support, but Raya made the all-important save.
Hearts are in mouths from the Arsenal fans as Ezra's tracking back, doing the right thing, goes to clear it and boots it straight into Declan Rice, and it could have gone anywhere. Just ballooned over the bar. There's an awkward finish from Haaland, one that in the first half he ran through centrally. This was tight on the left-hand side, didn't get a clean strike away. But the warnings are there. Still that jeopardy that Manchester City can break away, that can hurt Arsenal.
I say it was a good advantage to be played by the referee, because he could easily have given the attempted foul from Saka, but Doku wasn't too hindered, able to run clear and create an opportunity for Haaland. Corner kick for Manchester City. Foden to take it. It's an outswinger from the left, headed away by Rice. Comes to Bernardo Silva, passes the ball to Doku. Doku, right hand side of the area, dancing around the ball with a cut back in towards the near post. And the flag's up. Doku was coming back from an offside position. Free kick to Arsenal. We're approaching the hour mark. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1.
It's just that warning. Manchester City can hurt them still. Just saw it once in the first half.
Zubamendi lost his balance, gave the ball away to Bernardo Silva, just outside the centre circle of his own half. Rodri to Reinders, to Gianni Reinders, who was voted the best midfielder in Serie A last season. Would, of course, opened his Manchester City scoring account with that goal against Wolves. Got the assist here today. They thought they'd got a free kick here today, but instead the assistant referee is now getting grief from Pep Guardiola because he gave it in Arsenal's favour. Arsenal go back towards Raya. He picks out Declan Rice, and Rice can run at pace to Eze with the ball, and now quickly on towards Saka. Timber on the overlap on that right-hand side. He looks for Timber. Timber, can he get there? Sliding across. Arsenal get a corner kick. It was Guardiola who had to come across.
Really good from Guardiola. Knew that they were stretched, and Manchester City were stretched. So often in the first half we saw Guardiola or Kusanov just getting across and putting the foot on the ball, but this time it is a last-ditch tackle. It is a slide. It's slightly more stretched from the back line.
They're a little bit more free-flowing in the second half, aren't they? There was probably a degree of caution with Arsenal in the first half.
Yeah, I was going to say that Eze's played in 3 positions already so far. He's gone and tried the left. Thought, I'm not sure about this. Gone on the right. Gone and centre forward for a couple of minutes. That's quite hard to mark.
Arsenal still trail to that Haaland goal after 9 minutes. They're playing from right to left. They have a corner on that far side. Stuttering run up from Saka, the substitute. It's curling. It's towards the far post. It's followed by Trossard. Meets it, blocked, comes out towards Eze, gives it towards Trossard, passes the ball in, inside the 6-yard area, behind Gyökeres. and cleared away by Haaland. If ever there was such an inviting ball to be hammered into the back of the net, that was surely it. Raya launches the ball long. Trossard on the outside of the right foot, straight towards Reinders. Arsenal, though, are cranking up the pressure.
It's a brilliant ball from Trossard. Fired across 6 yards. It's just a perfect invite. Just go and tuck me away. An open goal begging. Donnarumma can't do anything. The defenders can't do anything. Gyökeres is the only one in there, and he's gone beyond it. The one time he does make the run, just goes behind him.
Bukayo Saka, threat coming down that right-hand side with Saka. Timber, 30 yards out from goal. Eza wants it centrally at a walking pace. Looks for the run of Timber, finds him. Timber's cross on the run towards the far post. And once again it required Matheus Nunes to track the run of Declan Rice and to concede the corner kick. Questions are now being asked of the City defence.
Yeah, this is a real test of Manchester City's resolve. They're standing up to it right now. The players, the Arsenal players, are drifting as a starting to tick, get Arsenal playing.
No wonder Mikel Arteta applauds with his hands above his head as he continues to patrol that technical area. Declan Rice, corner kick on the near side, the left. Gain, left arm goes aloft. Right-footed, crowded. Eza, can he control the ball? No, he's beaten to it by Foden. David Raya, all in lemon yellow, controls the ball in the centre circle and then pings it downfield, but that'll go straight out of play for a throw. Mikel Arteta, despite applauding David Raya, just sensed the frustration as he scratched his head in a rather irritated manner. Now he points at the watch of referee Craig Porton as if to say they're time wasting. His arms go aloft.
Manchester City just need a moment just to take stock, just to have a breather, just to say we're still in the lead, we're still in the game, this isn't a problem. We've ridden out storms here.
There is a school of thought, you know, and it's not my own. It comes from my good friend David Pleat. But if you're going to time check the goalkeepers for 8 seconds, why not do the same for throws?
Because it's a dead ball.
I know, but introduce it to stop the time-wasting element of the game.
Well, if you've got a goalkeeper who's got the ball in his hands and he's got 8 seconds, you've got to allow the man to get all the way over to the... They'll just be slower getting to the touchline to pick up the ball. I'll find a way to cheat, don't worry.
Diaz. Here is Donnarumma, who floats it out to this near side, headed by Matheus Nunes. Rodri chips it to the halfway line. Back header from Doku, looking for Reinders. He's lost out though to Saka. It's been clearly held back there. It was Bukayo Saka from Tijani Reinders. There was no attempt to play the ball. Referee though lets the free kick to be taken quickly. Here is Saka. Tries to get away from Reinders once again. No, it was O'Reilly on this occasion, sorry. O'Reilly with a foul, and that will be a free kick to Arsenal.
Well, Manchester City now saying, well, you're just not going to go past us because they know they're blowing. They've got too many players out there who are feeling the pace now. Reinders has done really well defensively. He's covered so much ground, but he's flagging out. Getting from central to left and back again and back out again is really, really difficult time for them. Pep Guardiola needs to start looking at his bench to say, what can I do just for freshness, just for bodies.
Stones is back on the bench. Ake, Gonzalez, Savinho, Oscar Bob, Mukasa and Rico Lewis are the other options. Rice with a free kick for Arsenal, delivered deep in the area. Gyökeres battling for it, never had full control of the ball. He was side on to goal anyway. Goes out towards Zubamendi. Just forward of the centre circle. Trossard plays a square ball forward towards Saliba. He gives it towards Declan Rice. Back towards Saliba. Every outfield player is in the Arsenal half away towards our left. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. 64 minutes played. Arsenal are starting to knock at the door though. Out it goes towards Timber. Level with the penalty area. Back towards Rice. Manchester City have dropped off behind the ball. Ake is going through his paces. He might be coming on very, very soon, Nathan Ake. I think he's just been given the shout from Pep Linders. Here is Zubamendi. Eza, central area, starts to run with the ball now, looks for Calafiore, just inside the box, left-hand side. Eza passes the ball then towards Trossard. Trossard delivers the cross, Gvardiol heads it away easily before Gyökeres could get there. Eza back towards Saliba. Now those sky blue shirts push on out, and Declan Rice had to quickly give the ball towards Saliba. Bernardo Silva continues to chase after him, and Eza now inside his own half. They've lost the ball. Bernardo Silva turns away from Eza, holds on to it, inside towards Foden, and Foden towards Gvardiol, and Gvardiol along the ground towards Doku. First little touch towards Reinders, this tidy and economical midfielder, Tijani Reinders. Gabriel heads it away. So Nathan Ake getting his final instructions is going to be coming on. Ball hasn't gone out of play. Saka on the right-hand side. Pep Guardiola thought it had gone out. Saka to the area. Gyökeres tries to give it back towards Saka, easily intercepted by Reinders. Gabriel keeps it in play on this near side. Down the left-hand side it goes towards Trossard. Chips it in towards Gyökeres with his back to goal. Tries to hold it up. Can't roll away from Gvardiol, who's marshalled him outside of the penalty box. Calafiore joins the attack. Gabriel, 35 yards out from goal. Now it's with Timber. On the right-hand side, Saka is infield to him at the moment. Bypasses Saka towards Saliba. Saliba edging his way forward because of Haaland's presence. He has to turn around. Gabriel forward of the centre circle, gives it towards Declan Rice. Arsenal supporters find their voices inside the Emirates. A crowd of 60,161 is today's attendance. Here is Rice, still one goal between the two sides. Haaland with City's first attack. Trossard tries to play it first time towards Eza. Appeals for handball against the body of the Mateus Nunes, who digs it out to clear. Calafiore strikes his back, should go out for a Manchester City throw. Here comes Nathan Ake, Rob Green.
Yeah, respite for Manchester City. Doku is now having to shuffle in as left-sided wing back almost. Just wondering whether who's it going to be sacrificed, and it is a defensive move.
Phil Foden is the player who's going to be coming off. Nathan Ake is going to be coming on. Pep Guardiola just having a word with Bernardo Silva to get those instructions across. Mentioned in the first half, incidentally, that last week was his 600th top-flight match as a manager. His teams have now scored 1,502 goals in the top flight. Pep Guardiola.
How many is that a game?
Probably about 2.5.
Somewhere around there. Well, you're looking at Manchester City now. They've gone to a back five, and Ake's in the middle of the three. Diaz to his right, Gvardiol to his left, and O'Reilly is a left wing back, and Nunes a right wing back. And I think that shows where Manchester City are right now. They know they're under the cosh. They know they're not going to have any significant possession now. They're just trying to get through the next period of time.
Trossard dances away from Mateus Nunes, who recovers and gets back goal side on this near side of the field. Trossard to Rice, goes underneath his right boot and allows Haaland to pass the ball towards Doku, and Doku now is the one who is coming forward. He wriggles free from Rice. Referee Stuart Atwell gives the free kick. Says there was a foul in there as Doku goes into the centre circle. He had to go it alone. He must have been surrounded by about 4 red and white shirts. He gets a free kick and offers respite for Manchester City.
There was a fraction of the moment where if he passed it to himself, just played it beyond everybody and went, there was a really good opportunity just to go. I'll tell you what, he might have got there, but once he decided not to do that, the chance was gone.
The telephone lines are open for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. 08085909693, the usual number to call. They'll be coming up after this game. We've got the Monday Night Club from 7 tomorrow. Then at 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, Mark Chapman and guests will focus on the Ryder Cup. There will be a full preview on Thursday, incidentally, from 7, and 9:30 we'll have coverage of the opening ceremony on Thursday night. And it goes without saying, all 3 days live on 5 Live, and the BBC Sounds Up from the Ryder Cup next Friday. The first day We'll have coverage from midday till midnight. Cannot wait for that from Ian Carter and the team. 20 minutes remaining here. Before then, of course, more live football. Tuesday night we're at Sinsel Bank, Lincoln City against Chelsea in the League Cup. Wednesday night, Huddersfield Town against Manchester City. As Raya clears away downfield, into the midfield it goes, up in the air, Rodri tucks it back, here is Gvardiol. Gvardiol on the halfway line, Rodri's cushion ball towards Reinders. Reinders has a little glance around, back towards Gvardiol. Reinders and the Croatian international continue to pass the ball between each other. Doku now gets involved, Reinders comes onto the ball, Doku has stayed in the central area. They seem to have navigated that little tricky spell well, City.
Yeah, they had a little period a few moments ago where they got into Arsenal's half and just had a few passes, and now they've just got over the halfway line and said, we'll just get as many passes in as we can. It's just precious few moments on the ball where they don't have to be seeing out wave after wave of attack. What the 2-3 centre-halves does for them now as well, especially with Reinders and Rodri just sat in front, gives them an extra man at the back, so they can keep it there. They can play. They've got 5 players just to pass it around. They might not go anywhere.
Free kick against Haaland on Saliba. Arsenal want to take it quickly because we've got 19 minutes of normal time remaining, and still they trail to that Haaland goal as Timber passes the ball quickly towards Saka. Infield it goes towards Zubamendi. Zubamendi now runs with the ball and then lays it off to his left, short and square towards Calafiori, who runs back into a central position. 30 yards out is Eza. Now with Timber, back to the England international once again. Drops his shoulder, plays it short, tries to link up with Saka, didn't post it with Timber, comes back towards Saka, now with Eza. Timber has stayed on the edge of the area, the ball is chipped out wide, Núñez is able to head that ball clear, Rice tries to head it to Calafiori, who on the stretch catches Bernardo Silva, and that'll be a free kick to Manchester City.
Met with groans from the Arsenal fans, and it's frustration more into desperation now. Arsenal are doing, and the problem they've got is they're staying, as a staying central, as are a lot of the players, and when you're playing against 3 centre-backs and wing-backs, you've got to create an overload out wide. You've got to go extra out wide and get the ball, dare I say it, Manchester City style, round the back and fill the cut back and just create something through there. At the minute they're staying very central and leaving the wide men out there.
That's the voice of Rob Green as Calafiori's clearance on the stretch. Infield, Rodri's downward header will drop to the feet of Doku. Fires it back to the chest of Rodri, laid off forward by Gvardiol. That's going to go astray. Saliba, his ball goes behind Timber, and Doku actually is the player who profits from that. There was no foul, says referee Stuart Atwell. City go back towards Raya. Declan Rice collects it from inside his own penalty area and now runs forward. Still, City have a slender lead. Trossard looks for the run of Gyökeres. In behind, Ake though goes with him stride for stride. Gets a corner kick though. Ake concedes the corner.
The winning runner in behind from Gyökeres, and it just split the defence of Manchester City for a second. That's not enough times they've managed to do that, really, just to get Manchester City's back line turning, running towards their own goal. And it's been a while since they've had a strike on goal. I think Eze's half volley was the last time they managed to have a shot.
Nico Gonzalez is going to be coming on. Didn't take him long to whip off that orange luminous bib. He was ready and primed. Rice with a corner kick, goes deep towards the far post, but it's a reaching arm from Donnarumma that fists it away out towards Saka. Keeps the ball in play. Zubamendi's cross. Haaland heads it up rather than away. Edge of the area. Met by a header this from Rodri that does get distance to safety away from that penalty area for Manchester City. Rice will spread play, lifts it high into the air. And is there a foul on Trossard? No, says the referee. And instead Reinders can bring it clear to Rodri. He's challenged though by Timber. Eza. Doku's trying to win it back for Manchester City and has done well. Doku.
He's done some fantastic work off the ball, Doku, hasn't he? Getting in there in midfield, just getting his body and getting a tackle away, just winning it back, breaking it up.
Getting his final instructions then, Nico Gonzalez. Arsenal, time running away from them, 15 minutes remaining. Here is Declan Rice. Trossard gives it back towards Rice once again. Trossard has an opportunity. Now he comes on the inside of Bernardo Silva, gives him a shove for good measure. The Belgian keeps his balance. Zubamendi along the ground, out towards Timber. Right corner of the area. Saka now will take over. Saka delivers the cross into the penalty area, and the header from Calafiore. Over the top. We were right behind that, as the great Jimmy Armfield would have said. It would have been his 90th birthday today. I know Blackpool and Barnsley remembered him yesterday at Bloomfield Road. Passed away in 2018, a truly wonderful man, and still missed by everybody at BBC Radio Sport. So our thoughts today with Duncan and the family. As the goal scorer, Erling Haaland, is going to be coming off to replaced by Nico Gonzalez. Again, another indication that they're just going to shut up shop for these, 14 minutes.
Yeah, midfielder on for a striker. They've now got a total of 0 centre forwards on the pitch. A lot of defenders, and I think he's just going to sit in there. Doku's going to have to plough a lone furrow somewhere up front. But this is it for Manchester City now. They are closing the door.
Donnarumma has just been booked. Time wasting with a goal kick. So he becomes the second Manchester City player to be booked after Bernardo Silva, the captain, in the first half. 14 minutes remain. Haaland, the goal scorer, off. Gonzalez on. Calafiore runs forward. Stumbles a little bit in the challenge with Rodri. Bernardo Silva comes to help out. Off his shins, it'll go out for an Arsenal throw.
Donnarumma, I don't think it's your job as a goalkeeper. You haven't done your job properly if you haven't got a 1-0 win and you haven't been booked. I think it's par for the course now, really, isn't it? Take the booking, move on. One criticism, probably did it a bit too early.
It was that scoreline when he came here in the semi-final of the Champions League last season, wasn't it, with Paris Saint-Germain? Got the clean sheet, the 1-0 win against the Arsenal. As Saliba, out it goes towards Saka, far side the right, at a walking pace, almost actually comes to a standstill. Ez has wandered over, here he is, former Crystal Palace player, shuffles the ball in field to Zubamendi. Zubamendi now out towards Calafiore. On this near side, the left. Watched all the way by Bernardo Silva. Saliba out to Saka. Trying to prise open this Manchester City defence. Saka darts in field. He goes with a square ball. It goes across the body of Calafiore, a little bit further out wide than he maybe would have wanted. Trossard towards Saka, who's continued to follow the ball on this near side now. Saka sees an area of space, runs into it. Snuffed out by 3 sky blue shirts. And it'll be a goal kick.
Just running out of ideas here, you feel, Arsenal. It's going to take something special now, because Manchester City have got so many bodies in the way. It's going to be a tired mistake from Manchester City, or something out of the extraordinary for Arsenal to get back into this.
Well, he came off the bench against Athletic Bilbao with a goal in midweek. And once again, they're looking to the substitutions to try and reap some sort of a reward here, as Arsenal still trail by 1-0 with just over 10 minutes remaining. Gabriel Martinelli is going to be coming on. Arsenal have the ball with Saliba. Finds Eze. Eze inside the Manchester City half. Trossard, you'd think, would be the player who'd be coming off, as Eze runs infield, bypasses Zubamendi. Timber up towards Saka. O'Reilly stands in front of him, helped out by Reinders. Here is Saka, level the area, back towards Eze. Gabriel wants the ball. He'll get it to his feet now from Eze. Chips it forward. Oh, it was almost picking out Trossard. Required the run of Mateus Nunes to head it behind and concede the corner kick.
Really good concentration, because from that angle, no disrespect, well, he would have been offside, Trossard. That's a bit of a reprieve there for Arsenal, because they wouldn't be winning this corner.
I thought they were going to take they are going to take the substitution now, and in fact it's not going to be Trossard. Martinelli's going to be coming on, and it's Jurrien Timber who is the player who's going to be going off. So an attacking change made by Mikel Arteta as they look to try and salvage an equaliser with 10 minutes remaining. 6:06 on its way. 08085 909 693. We'll try and bring you as much live reaction as we can from the tunnel here. In comes the corner kick. Donnarumma flapped at that. Managed to get something on it. They get the ball away to Manchester City. Then that's closed down by Rodri. Up in the air it goes. Drops inside the D. Rodri hooks it away over his head. Saka has to deal with this bouncing ball as he runs back towards the halfway line. Declan Rice, arms aloft, wants the ball and gets it as it curls its way along the ground towards him, left of the centre circle. Eze now takes over and runs forward. Trossard has gone central. Martinelli's playing out wide left. So Trossard now is alongside Gyökeres, as Saka is on the right-hand side. It goes towards Calafiori. Calafiori comes on the inside and shoots. When I say he shoots, it's gone in between the goal and the corner flag.
There was not one person in the stadium who believed he was going to score there, and the strike vindicated everybody. 60-odd thousand of us thought, don't do that, and he shouldn't have done it.
Donnarumma clears, headed back by Saliba, headed further away though by Ake, helped on then by Nico Gonzalez in the midfield for Manchester City. We have 8 minutes remaining. Manchester City 6 points from 4 games before today, their fewest points at this stage for 15 years. Doku into the penalty area. Doku, the angle is tight, sends it goalwards with the outside of his right boot. Bernardo Silva, as it runs across the face of goal, will never look like it was going to go in. Bernardo Silva keeps it alive for Manchester City. Back it goes to Mateus Nunes. It's been a while since they'd actually ventured into the Arsenal half, as Donnarumma dawdled, and that ball wasn't running as true as he thought it was, and in the end, seldom short, and Gyökeres almost got there.
Yeah, miscommunication with Diaz. Diaz left it for him and he left it for Diaz.
Saka was pulled back there in his attempt to get the ball. Again, the Emirates crowd are up and wanting action to be taken by referee Stuart Atwell. There's a City player down on the far side. That is Nico O'Reilly. And the physio is going to have to come on, I think. Pep Guardiola is animated more with his bench, but that, I think, has angered a couple of supporters who are 2 or 3 rows further back from the open dugout that we have here at the Emirates.
Yeah, he was really unhappy with Ruben Diaz, who just left it for Donnarumma, and Donnarumma only had one choice, to kick it long, and Pep Guardiola's argument is say, well, pass the ball, play, and control the game. He's still going. He's now unhappy with Nico O'Reilly, or physio is certainly not quite content with life at the moment.
No. Well, we'll gauge how he's feeling anyway. I mean, he's still turning away, and well, he reminds me a little bit like Freddie Mercury would be on the stage for Queen.
Not quite got the same tash.
No. Or teeth. But apart from that,
it's quite the show anyway.
very good. Well, the show must go on, as they say, and it will after this with 6:06. And I'm sure that Andy Gillies will gauge the best out of Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta by bringing you those live interviews into 6:06 with Chris and Robbie, as Trossard does finally make way and Ethan Nwaneri comes on to replace him for one final throw for Arsenal, as they still trail with 6 minutes remaining. But I'm thinking, with the amount of substitutions that we've had, you could be, and Savinho's going to be coming on for Manchester City, you've got to be looking at least 5 minutes of added time.
Yeah, there's a lot of added time. It's anybody's guess, really. Stuart Atwell can tell them to put up a number. I don't think it... such a stop-start second half. Arsenal have now got about 7 creative and attacking players on the pitch, just matching up Manchester City with the number of defenders they've got, really.
Play back underway then on 5 Live, the World Service and the BBC Sounds app. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1, and Manchester City are going to be making a double change as Declan Rice runs forward with the ball, lays it out towards Saka right-hand side. Saka now sends over the cross, met by a firm header by Rodri. Heads it from back from where it came, over on that right. Goes out for an Arsenal throw. John Stones is the other player. He's been troubled by a muscle injury of late. Missed the last 2. Of course, had to withdraw from England duty for Thomas Tuchel's last games against Andorra and Serbia. As Rice waits for this throw, it's a long one coming in from that far side to right, met by the head of Gonzalez, edge of the area. Calafiore stumbles his way forward, ultimately loses the ball. Gvardiol will run out towards that far side, the City left, and plays it up towards Doku, and Doku controls it, then runs forward, and then tripped by Zubamendi. Referee will give a free kick to Manchester City under 4.5 minutes of normal time remaining.
He's done a fantastic job, Jeremy Doku. It's not maybe been what he's wanted to do. He's not been as close to the goal as he'd like, but he's broken the game up from high up the pitch, and then when he's got it, he's just been willing to run, sacrifice yourself to get the bodies up the pitch, get your team up the pitch. It's been a long old shift for him up there.
Yes, his work rate for the team and off the ball has been very, very good indeed. John Stones, his name is being sung. Nico O'Reilly is the player who will make way for John Stones. Savinho's going to come on as well. And the player coming off is indeed going to be the aforementioned Jeremy Doku, who certainly gets full marks from Rob Green.
Yeah, it's been one of the players that Manchester City have turned to and said, we need you to really put your body on the line, and everybody's done that to a man in terms of defending, but it takes something extra to say you really are just putting yourself out there to be kicked, to run, to have to harry and whatever you can. He's getting his thanks from Pep, and rightly so.
And also, and quite rightly so as well, as far as Nico O'Reilly, got a standing an ovation as he made his way back to the Manchester City bench, because the young man did ever so well at left back and got a few pats on the chest from his manager Pep Guardiola. So those double changes have been made. Bernardo Silva towards Savinho, who comes on with less than 3 minutes remaining. It was Jeremy Doku and O'Reilly going off, Stones and Savinho on. Manchester City looking to navigate their way through these closing 2.5 minutes. And their travelling support are making their presence felt inside the Emirates. Savinho, coming back from an offside position though, has given a free kick to Arsenal.
We've made a lot of the Arsenal atmosphere here, and the desperation and anxiety and stress, and now it's just subdued. It's quiet, and that's been sensed by the Manchester City fans. They've been quiet, they've been pensively watching on, haven't they? And now just starting to think, well, we've defended 88 minutes of it, we might be able to see it all the way through.
Struggled to create chances in the first half. Donnarumma saved from Madueke just before half-time. Eza's half volley saved by Donnarumma. As here is Declan Rice, now with Eza, and we have under 2 minutes of normal time remaining. How much additional time will be interesting. Arsenal still trying to get their way past this City side that keeps their shape well. Rice looks up, Calafiore on the width on this near side the left, his cross blocked, comes out towards Saka, rolls away off his left thigh. Rice towards Saliba, here is Nwaneri, back then once again with Saliba. Martinelli wants the ball to feet on this near side. Declan Rice runs forward, almost tries to engage Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, though, is able to get a foot into that, and it runs out of play for a throw. And actually, it'll be a Manchester City throw, last touch off Arsenal.
Yeah, another wave of attacks are over and seen through from Manchester City. I'm just wondering how many players, when they ask who wants to go to Huddersfield on Wednesday night, will be putting their hands up after this encounter.
Pep Guardiola, incidentally, has just given the fourth official, Craig Pawson, a kiss on the cheek. I would suggest his animated mood has somewhat become a little bit more relaxed. It's lightened. Might not hear if Arsenal can conjure up a goal as Saka on the left-hand side. Nunes goes with it and flags up the far side. Free kick to Manchester City.
And again, you just feel that Arsenal have run out of steam. They showed signs of life with Eza coming on. A bit of creativity with Saka linking up, and Manchester City looking stretched in this first 15 minutes of the second half, but then since then it's been controlled defence by Manchester City. Every substitution's been a more defensive one.
7 minutes of added time. Saka hooks it on towards Martinelli. Gvardiol is there. Mikel Arteta races away down that touchline on ball boy duties to pick up the ball off that white cone. They are desperate for an equaliser here at the Emirates. So we're into 7 minutes of added time. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1. Here is Rice. Waneri, his ball in, it's a deep one, and required Mateus Nunes to run back with Bukayo Saka to concede the corner with a header.
Well, this is the Arsenal fullback, isn't it? This is it. Let's get a corner, let's get a goal from a set piece. Actually managed to put Donnarumma under enough pressure to make him make a mistake last corner. They're leaving him at the minute to come out and challenge, but I do expect him to be occupied by the time the corner's taken.
In both of the league meetings last season, there were goals scored in the 90th minute. As Rice, with this corner kick, fires this one over, headed out by Stones, the first man. Waneri got the 5th goal in February in that 5-1 victory. John Stones, the man who just made that clearance, got the late equaliser when they met at the Etihad in that 2-2 draw a year ago. Rice, Waneri clips it in, headed out by Gvardiol. Here is Reinders, who just cushion header in front of himself to try and get more of a control of the ball, and succeeds. To Rodri, now with Gonzalez back out towards Reinders. He's got Savinho if he wants to go with him, but Reinders makes a central run and is stopped by Rice, but that loose ball towards Gonzalez on the stretch goes in. Calafiori has stayed down, he's quickly back to his feet now. Saka actually picks it up midway through his own half. Calafiori touches the ball towards Eza. Eza goes long, over the top. Martinelli's made that dart forward. He chips the goalkeeper! And Martinelli with a last gasp equaliser! And what a finish! Donnarumma came off his goal line. Martinelli chips it, kisses the inside of the right-hand post. Mikel Arteta was right. It's about those who finish and not those who start, and Martinelli makes his mark. 1-1.
Relief, jubilation, every emotion that you can think of has just come out of 60,000 Arsenal fans here at the Emirates, and it's a wonder goal. It's a brilliant run from deep by Martinelli. It's a fantastic ball over the top. The game stopped. Everybody waited. Eza with the weighted ball. It's a fantastic touch from Martinelli. And then the deftest of finishes over Donnarumma. Loops over him. It took an eternity for it to drop and bounce and nestle in the goal.
Now they're checking the goal for a possible offside for VAR.
It's not.
But the goal will stand.
Yeah.
But also, the Manchester City bench were livid. And they were into the ear of Craig Pawson for something that they were pointing about in their own half. I don't know what that was about. But the goal stands, it's 1-1.
It was a fantastic goal.
Oh, it was.
Was a really well-timed run. A brilliant ball over the top. And you have to say, for all the defensive resolve, you say it was going to be something special. You just didn't think it was going to come, because those runs, those balls just haven't been good enough for Arsenal up until, what was it, the 93rd minute.
Mikel Arteta could become the first manager to go 5 league games against Pep, denying him a win in all of that time. They might even have time for a winner. Eza muscled out off the ball by Nico Gonzalez. They kept believing, they kept on trying, and Martinelli making that run forward with an exquisite finish. 1-1 then between these two. Here is Bernardo Silva. Back then to Ruben Diaz. By my watch, we've got 2 minutes remaining. Free kick though in favour of Manchester City.
I just wonder how they've been holding that line, Manchester City. They've done it so well. But they hadn't been up against someone with the pace of Martinelli, had they? Who managed to make that run. It was from deep, from the angle, timed it to perfection. The ball from Eza was just sublime. And from there, the final touch was just brilliance as well. Manchester City still in no hurry to take this.
Tijjani Reinders is going to take it. He wasn't aware that he was actually on the duties, so he had to race across. Pep Guardiola still trying to micromanage down below. Reinders swings it in, headed away by Rice, headed back by Ake. Stones is there, headed away by Calafiori, drops towards Saka, loses out towards Safinho. Gyökeres will now lead a counter-attack up towards the goal scorer Martinelli. Martinelli comes forward, muscled off the ball though by Nuis. 1-1 it remains. Savinho now runs forward, fresh legs from the substitute. Declan Rice slides across. Calafiori should see it back towards Raya. Arsenal are going to make a change, and Mosquera is going to be coming on. Christian Mosquera. By my watch, we have 40 seconds remaining. This place will go berserk if they can find a winner. They look towards Saka on the left. Martinelli's gone central. And that was a foul by Saka.
All control, all tactics have gone out the window now. Both teams are just going for it. Just feeling it actually anything could happen however many seconds are remaining.
If it finishes 1-1, the winners from this occasion will be Liverpool.
Yeah, as we said at the start, there are a number of outcomes of this game. We're not quite sure what it was. You think Liverpool would be grateful and happy with whatever happens. They'll be pleased with this.
Clumsy challenge from Saliba on Ake has presented Manchester City with a free kick. The minimum 7 minutes have elapsed. Mosquera is going to be coming on for Zubimendi. So a defender for a midfielder. And we're now at the discretion of the referee here on 5 Live. 6:06 coming up. 08085 909 693 to book your calls for Chris and Robbie. It is 1-1. This surely has got to be the last bit of action. Manchester City almost midway through the Arsenal half, about 10 yards in from the left touchline. Have a free kick. It drops inside the penalty area now. Saliba heads it away, comes out towards Mateus Nunes. Bernardo Silva will go all the way back towards Donnarumma. Donnarumma hits it forward. Stones has stayed in the attack. He gets a touch on that off the top of his head. David Raya, still the referee, has no indication of blowing his whistle yet. 8 minutes played. Raya goes long. Gyökeres tries to get on the end of it. Comes off the back-pedalling Diaz with his volley. And they find Savinho. And Savinho fouled by Calafiori. That'll be a free kick. As Manchester City will be now not beating Arsenal in their last 6 meetings.
It's been a breathless end to the game. Ignited by that bit of brilliance from 2 substitutes, but doesn't answer anything for Arsenal, does it? In terms of the challenge for the season, title challenge, that can they step up to the plate this season?
Ball is hit downfield, out to Ruben Diaz on that left-hand side. Savinho with a back heel, keeps it in play. Mosquera is there, the attempted clearance by Saliba struck Mosquera, gets a better connection on the second time up towards Gyökeres, tussling away with Guardiola, and there indeed is the final whistle. So for the first time, Pep Guardiola goes 5 games without a top-flight win in his managerial career against Mikel Arteta. It finishes 1-1, and Arsenal, with late drama, rescue a late point.
Well, it was a moment of brilliance from Erling Haaland that set up the potential win. And then it had to be responded eventually by the 2 substitutes of Arsenal. Their moments of brilliance. In between, a lot of controlled, defensive assertiveness from Manchester City. Very little in terms of chances to report, and very little in terms of creative flair from Arsenal. I thought Manchester City were going to see themselves over the line with that. I think, will both teams be happy with a point? Probably not.
Do you think, though, that Arsenal deserved the point on the balance of the second half?
I think they were better in the second half. I think they were, more creative. They had more fluidity. They had more about them. But you turn around and say, you know what? We have that one moment of brilliance in there. That's good enough to get us a goal. And they're good players on the pitch. As they can do that. Martinelli, his off-the-cuff finish, his wonderful touch, and they did deserve a goal because of that one moment of brilliance. The rest was a lot of trying, a lot of wondering, and a lot of looking around at where it was going to come from.
2 excellent goals. Haaland with the first after 9 minutes, and then that late equaliser, that moment of brilliance from Martinelli to lift it over the onrushing Donnarumma. And it finished at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 1.
Bet he doesn't get lobbed often, Rob.
It was just perfection, wasn't it? The weighted ball over the top, and then from there he had to take it on, and he thought, it's sat upright, it's bounced upright, outside of the right boot, it's gonna have to be perfect. And Steve, the length of time it felt it took for that ball to go in, and you weren't quite sure whether it was just going to clip the post and come back out or go in. It was a brilliant finish, and you know what, it took something special, because Manchester City defended really, really well. They held the shape, they held the nerve, they saw out the tough periods. It was just one run, really well timed, one ball perfectly executed, and a finish to match.
It actually reminded me a little bit of his goal in Bilbao, in that there were 3 touches and they all had to be absolutely perfect. Here it was, the run had to be perfect, then the first touch, then the finish. But this was even better than Bilbao.
Yes, and it's against better opposition, and in the situation you're thinking, this is going to have to take something special. I thought maybe it was going to be a mistake from Manchester City because they were tiring so much, some of the players, but you just didn't know where it was going to come from, and then from there, the rest you'll just have to watch it tonight on Match of the Day, because it's just something worth waiting up for. Brilliant.
How will Manchester City feel about this? Obviously, they're going to be gutted that they weren't quite able to get over the line, but we were saying we didn't really know what we were going to get from them because of previous performances this season. They were really good.
They were. You can control the game without controlling the ball, and I think clearly that's what they decided to do. They said our strength has been our back 4, and in the last 2 games we've looked solid. Let's stick with that, and they did that. They were very much a back 4. They didn't go much beyond. We were wondering whether Mateus Nunes coming out of that shape would have been into that back 4 would have made a difference, but he did well when he came on, and it was just one lapse when the ball got played over the top. They were slightly too high. There wasn't the pressure on the ball, and that's all it takes, is that one little slip. So Pep Guardiola, he's going to be pleased. He's going to be so proud of how they defended, and you're thinking it was just that one moment of brilliance from Arsenal. From their point of view, probably held the line a bit too long and should have dropped as a group a bit quicker. From that, other than that, 90, nearly 100 minutes of football, and they were defensively flawless.
Rob, Ian, great stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Rob Green and Ian Dennis, cheers, inside the Emirates, where it has finished Arsenal 1, Manchester City won. 3 Premier League games, 3 draws. Sunderland 1, Villa 1, and Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. The big winners, Liverpool, 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. In the Championship, Bristol City 1, Oxford United 3, Middlesbrough are 4 points clear at the top. In the WSL, Brighton 4, West Ham 1. Chelsea, the only perfect team after beating Leicester by a goal to nil, finished 0-0 in the game between Manchester United and Arsenal. And in the Scottish League Cup, Celtic are through to the semi-finals after a 4-0 win at Partick Thistle. 08085 909 693. Loads to talk about. It's time for 606.
Are you ready to have your say? In the UK's biggest football debate, your teams, your views. Get ready. This is 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on 5 Live.
Welcome to 606, your football phone-in show. We're here until 8 p.m. taking your calls. It was a case of the Late Show at the Emirates.
Eza goes long, over the top. Martinelli's made that dart forward. He chips the goalkeeper. And Martinelli with a last gasp equaliser. And what a finish.
Oh, Christopher, how important was that point for Arsenal and Arteta?
Well, do you know what, Rob? I mean, the bench Arsenal have to bring on Eze and Martinelli. Is that a point, Arsenal fans, which is going to win you the title this season? It may not feel like it now, but I think they're going to run Liverpool very close this year, Rob.
The title? He's got a point.
Well, I'm telling you, that could be a big point, Rob. So you're saying it's done and dusted, are you?
So they had a point last year against Man City.
You're writing Arsenal off, are you?
Liverpool will win the league, yeah. There you go. Liverpool will win the league. What?
Knee-jerk nonsense.
Man City and Arsenal fans, the number to call is 08085 909 693. Earlier, Villa, your old team, Christopher, did finally score, but ended up frustrated by 10 black cats.
Cash is going to shoot. He does, and he scores! And Matty Cash from 25 yards has finally scored Villa's first Premier League goal of the season. Bounces up in the air, headed back over the top. Is it goal? He's scored! Sunderland have equalised! The 10-men draw level!
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Call free 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Visit bbc.co.uk/5 Live terms for our terms of use and privacy notice.
So, Christopher, you were at the Stadium of Light today. It was a great comeback by 10-man Sunderland to get a point. Why do you think Aston Villa have struggled so far this season? And I heard you in the trail, one trail you've done this season so far. Are you changing your mind about Sunderland? Because you said they wouldn't get a point and they're going down.
Well, that was before they brought in 14 new players. You're better than that with your view on the trail. You just don't do trails anymore. But do you know what? Serious point about Sunderland. First of all, Rob, I got them wrong. There is no way that Sunderland are getting relegated. They really impressed today. The better team. But my old club, Aston Villa, I am worried about them. It's early days, Rob, but it looked like the front line. They had Bundia, Gesam, Rodgers and Watkins. It looked like they'd never played together before. It was staggering. I'm worried about Villa. Are you Villa fans?
Sunderland Villa fans, number to call is 08285 909 693. Who else do you hear from tonight, Christopher?
I want to hear from Newcastle and Bournemouth fans. Bit of a drab affair by all accounts, but I don't think that's the worst point for Newcastle and Bournemouth. I mean, they're going under the radar once again. Rob, want to hear from Bournemouth fans. Bristol City fans, third in the league, but they were educated today by Oxford United, beaten 3-1 at Ashton Gate. And Celtic through to another semi-final, Rob. And who have they drawn? Who have they drawn? Rangers in the League Cup semi-final in Scotland. St Mirren against Motherwell in the other semi-final. Let's hear from fans north of the border.
Yeah, I wasn't on last night. Great show, you and Roman. Chris, I was listening in the car. You know, somebody thought you were me, which is obviously you must have been an educated show last night. People's talking sense. What about little old Wrexham beating your Norwich? Wow.
Yeah, I didn't like
little
them.
Wrexham.
Yeah.
Little old Wrexham.
If it's not, it's, you know, they've bought their success, and that doesn't sit right with me, Rob.
Little old Wrexham beating your Norwich. Wow. Whoever you support, whichever club it is, give us a call. 08085 909 693. Here's a question for you, Chris, quickly. Who's got the best, who's got the best XG in the Premier League, do you think? Who would you say?
Who's got the best XG?
Best XG in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, Brighton.
Today? No.
Well, you said today. Who's got the best XG in the Premier League?
As of today, after the start of the season.
Arsenal.
No, keep guessing. Let's go to Ant, Arsenal fan. How are you, Ant?
Relieved. Yeah.
Ooh, relieved. Chris thinks you can win the title.
Look, I agree with Chris. I think that's a massive point.
You're not going to win at Liverpool.
I always make massive points.
I'm not saying we are, but at the end of the season, that could turn out to be a massive point. Liverpool, they've won 5 from 5.
So in these games, because I think, Chris alluded to it. Last year at Man City, it was a 0-0, was it? At Man City, it was a 0-0. You've got to win these games. I know you've got a great record against the top 6 teams historically, yeah? But these are the games you got to win. You're at home. You got to win these games if you're going to win the title.
Yeah, and granted. And when I saw the starting 11, I was a bit disappointed. I thought he should have gone with the same front three as we had in the week.
Yeah, why does he do that? Why does he do that?
I don't know.
Because I've got
absolutely no idea.
Managers can rotate. He knows better than you and me. He knows better. Arteta knows best. He knows better than you and me about his team. And his finishers have come on, and they've got him a point.
Yeah, but they might have won the game had he started with them both. I've got Ezra in my fantasy team. Arteta's out of order.
I wouldn't have gone that far, but no. But yeah, I mean the squad.
There you go, guys, and there it is. I'm so sorry that there has been some problems with the UI. I'm very sorry about that. Oh, sorry, guys. Let me just figure this out. I'm very sorry that the UI hasn't been working for a very long time. I don't know what's going on. I've been having a bit of glitching going on. But for the next games, I will try and find out how to fix it. And by the way as well, Arsenal drawed. Very happy to see that Arsenal got that win that we've always wanted to see. Please like and subscribe and post notifications, and it means a lot as well. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow with Millwall versus Watford. It's Arsenal 1, Manchester City 1. See you soon. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Actually, not 8 o'clock. At 6:50. Bye-bye, guys.